What's up, everyone? Big Country 7914 here. We're gonna start something new. Episode 1, Big Country Sports Hour. We're gonna talk everything and everything sports. Football, baseball, hockey, basketball, soccer, cricket. I don't know a damn thing about cricket, but if you guys want to talk about it, we're gonna talk about it. Fantasy football, anything you guys want to talk about. We got a lot going on right now. Sports are back. Sports back in full force. Every league is playing. You got the NHL being in the bubble, the NBA being in the bubble. The NFL is at full tilt. MLB has been surviving. MLS is playing. Premier Leagues are playing. Golf has been good. And got no fans in the stands for most of them. I know some football stadiums are having some fans in the stands now, but it's at low capacity. It's not the normality that we're used to. So we're gonna just talk about sports, anything and everything. Today I want to start with that Patriots game on Sunday night. Patriots Seahawks. As you guys know, if you guys have been following this channel, you guys been around for a little bit. I'm from the New England area, grew up just north of Boston. Big Patriots fan, big Bruins fan, Celtics, Red Sox. But also, if you have been following, you know I do like the Titans, hence the Titans hat. I like the Detroit Pistons, Detroit Red Wings, Vegas Golden Knights, Atlanta Braves. A lot of people don't know about that. I do like the Atlanta Braves for baseball. I've been kind of getting into the Chicago Cubs. My wife's family's from Chicago, so I'm not really I'll watch baseball, mostly playoffs. I'm not a diehard baseball guy, but hopefully as these go on, if we can get more, people start to like this channel, like what I'm doing here. I want to be able to bring some people in who are maybe more knowledgeable about baseball than I am, and have them kind of come in and talk about baseball. So what's up, Cubs? How we doing, bud? So this is the new thing we're doing here. Every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. we're gonna do a little bit of sports talk. Whatever you guys want to talk about, let's talk it out. Like I said, I want to start with that Patriots game on Sunday night. Patriots Seahawks, great game. Came down to the last play of the game. And you know what? I listen to a lot of sports talk radio shows, and I hear them kind of rip the Patriots for not using that timeout, for them running the same play again at the goal line. And honestly, like, them not calling the timeout, I honestly thought was the right play. Cubs, I'm doing great, bud. Doing great. I'm excited just to kind of talk about this. Honestly, I thought them not taking that timeout with the 36 seconds, 38 seconds left in the fourth quarter. It ran down to like 18 seconds. I know it was like 20. It was like 20 to 23 seconds that it took them to get up to the line after Edelman made that big catch. And they even mentioned this on the broadcast too, was that, this early in the season with no preseason, no training camp, these teams are tired. That defense was tired. And if you guys remember that next play, Cam Newton threw a perfect ball that went right through Edelman's hands in the end zone. So if Edelman caught that, that's a touchdown. Game over. Patriots win. And nobody's going to be questioning about, why didn't you call a timeout there? Why didn't you? So the Patriots knew that the Seahawks were tired. They just marched down the fields. They got them winded. It's the end of the game. There was no training camp. There was no preseason. So those guys are tired. So I think, A, that was the right play. B, Edelman makes that catch on the next play. The game's over. And then that third play, Cam made a great pass to N'Keal Harry, and he just short of the line. Didn't really have an opportunity to kind of reach in and get that ball across the line for that touchdown. And then that bunch formation on the goal line, that play is going to work 7 out of 10 times, 8 out of 10 times that the fullback just got blown up. And I mean, Cam even said it in the post conference that he made the wrong call. He should have bounced that outside and it would have been a touchdown. So, I mean, but more for me, the Patriots not calling the timeout, I agreed with there. So I don't know what you guys think. What do you if you agree with me, you disagree with me? This is why I want to do this. I can get your guys' feedback. We can do a little back and forth. I shouldn't have too much of a delay on the Twitch side here. Unless you're on mobile, then there is an automatic 10-second delay. So any feedback? If not, I'll keep rambling. So, but it was all in all, it was a great play. Cam Newton showed that he can pass the ball again. It looks like he's really working on his passing. He really wants to improve, and I think he showed this week. Week 1 against Miami, they ran the ball a lot. I think they ran with him 15 times. He's gotten 2 rushing touchdowns in 2 weeks. So, I mean, that's pretty impressive. So, going into the season, my biggest worry was the offense. You know, you got no more Tom Brady. You got no more Tom Brady. Gronk. I mean, I know Gronk was there last year. We didn't really know who the quarterback was going to be. I know everybody was kind of saying that it was going to be Jared Stidham. And then they signed Cam Newton at a great franchise, a great salary. I mean, this is definitely a prove-it year for Cam too, so clearly he wants to work on his mechanics to get better. Cubs, you think that they should have taken the timeout? Why do you... I mean, I gave my piece. Why do you think that would have given them an extra play? I mean, I think if they took that timeout, it would have given Seattle's defense a chance to catch their breath. That's the reason why I thought not taking that timeout there was the right play. But like I said, no Tom Brady, no Gronk. Didn't really know who the quarterback was. So the offense, we didn't really know who the wide receivers were. They released Sanu. Yeah, I think they could have got one more play out of it. I mean, in that time though, it's kind of hard to say. Like, yeah, they could have got one more play out of it. But if Edelman catches the ball on that next play, even though Edelman had a fantastic game, record high in receiving yards, was it like 171 receiving yards? His highest before that was 157. But if he caught it on the next play, we're not having this discussion today. So that's why, like, I think that I personally thought that it was the right call. I know a lot of people disagree with me on that. Could you got one more play? Yes. But, so you use that timeout there. So this is the way I'm thinking about it. Well, I'm going to go back to the offense on the Patriots, but this is how I'm thinking about it. You use that timeout there. You're at, 36 seconds? Say you run that same play that you ran to Edelman. He doesn't catch it. He drops it. Same thing happens. The clock stops there. You're probably at, I think, 7 seconds ran off? 7 to 10 seconds ran off there. So you're at 20. And then you're at... The next play is the N'Keal Harry play. He catches at the 1. Now you got to run up and spike the ball. You have to clock the ball. You can't run another play. Because if you do try to run up and run another play, then then you won't be able to have another play. You have to spike it. And then if you don't get in there, you either got to run another play quick or you got to clock it again. With the amount of time left, I don't think that even with that timeout there, you would have still gotten an extra play. I don't know if that makes sense or not. I mean, it's like hindsight's 2020. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. But I just think I mean, I know Seattle used their timeout as well right before the last play, but the Patriots used theirs first. So that was more, I think that was more of a kind of like a freeze tactic, kind of like you would like try to freeze the kicker. They, maybe try to freeze the O-line or whatnot. But I still don't think there would have been enough time in the game to get that one more play off. But like I said, hindsight's 2020. We don't know. But go back on, I thought like the beginning of the season, I definitely thought that the Patriots offense was going to be the issue and their defense was going to be fine. However, I know a lot of defensive players did opt out this year because of the COVID rule. I know there's like no Hightower, which he's a big factor in the middle there in the defense. I believe Chung also opted out on the defensive side. I know there was a couple other defensive players that opted out that were there last year when their defense was one of the best defenses in the league. But I don't know if it was just more Seattle is going to be that scary of a team this year where they're going to be able to just throw the ball and be able to, I don't know. I mean, Russell Wilson after 2 weeks looks like he's MVP candidate already. So if they can keep that up with freaking DK Metcalf and what's his name? Tyler Lockett and even Jerome Brown, I think his name is. I mean, those guys were just burning over the top, and if they can continue to do that, I mean, I know they got the Cowboys this week. Cowboys, I think, have better if not similar kind of corners and safeties as the Patriots. And I mean, Stephon Gilmore was the Defensive Player of the Year last year, and they just went at him. And DK Metcalf just overworked him. So going into this year, their defense was definitely, I thought it was going to be the strong point. After 2 games, I think it's their weak point and could definitely use some work, and their offense is the strong point, and I'm excited to see what Cam could do for the rest of the season. They do got a tough test this weekend coming up, playing against the Raiders, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. It should be fun. It should be a fun game. But continuing on the NFL, talk a little fantasy sports here. Was this the most injuries you've seen in 1 week for the NFL? Oh my God. I feel like every time I looked at my phone on Sunday, I was getting an alert of somebody else that was hurt. And now today, we got another one that Devontae Adams is uncertain to play this week. Wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers. Probably a late first round, early second round draft pick in most fantasy leagues. I have him on one of my teams. We'll just run down the list. You got Jimmy Garoppolo's hurt. You got George Kittle got hurt last week. Tevin Coleman went out. Joey Bosa went out. Bosa's replacement, the young rookie that they replaced. The whole 49ers team pretty much went down. Hold on. But that was one of the who else got hurt? There was so many people got hurt this week. Christian McCaffrey got hurt. Saquon Barkley, 1 and 2 picks in fantasy drafts, gone in the second week. I don't know what is going on. Some good players to pick up if you guys are looking to pick up some players in your fantasy. What was that kid? The kid on. Let me pull it up. Who's the running back on the Jaguars? He's probably the number 1 pickup. The backup for Christian McCaffrey too. He's probably a good look. If you need some running backs, Mike Davis. He'll be a good replacement for a couple weeks. With Christian McCaffrey being out, apparently Devonta Freeman is meeting with the Giants and is expected to sign with them. there's Robinson. I think the kid's name is Robinson in Jacksonville. If he's available in your leagues, he'll be a good pickup. Anything else anybody wants to talk about with the NFL or fantasy football? Saquon's killing me in my leagues. I drafted Brady in one league. I think I got to replace him. There's a couple other guys. Now that Christian McCaffrey's out, I think DJ Moore should probably get more touches, more looks. Trying to think who else. There's some good wide receivers that should still be available in your leagues if you're looking for a pickup there. Tight ends were the plays this week. Like Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson would be a good pickup if you need a wide receiver. John Brown in Buffalo. He might be getting more looks, more touches now that you got Stephon Diggs there. Diggs is the number one and could potentially, muster up the most of the protection, which will allow John Brown, who is a speedier wide receiver, to get open a little more. Marcus Valdez-Scantling and VS would be a good pickup, seeing how that Devontae Adams is going to be out at least a week, if not more. Russell Gage looked good in that horrendous collapse by the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday. Let's talk about that. That was the worst collapse in NFL since the 28-3, which was the Atlanta Falcons. So I guess this is just on par for them every couple of years. Sorry, any Falcons fans, but for them to allow Dallas to come back like that and win that game. I mean, props to Dallas. Hell of a comeback. Like, good for you guys, but for Atlanta to let that up, that's just not pretty. And then what was trying to think who I heard a stat last night. It was like teams that scored 4 touchdowns and didn't have any turnovers were undefeated until the Falcons. The Falcons was the first team that did that to lose. So that's a wild stat right there in itself. Oh my God, he's being a little pain in the ass. So, I mean, that's kind of what I got for football. If you guys want to talk anything about football, feel free to post it in the chat. How about that Stars Lightning game last night, huh? Tampa Bay goes up 3 goals in the first period. Dallas almost comes back to win that. That's gonna be a good series. That series might go the long run. I think that might go 7. I think both teams are going to be able to find the weakness of the other. But I feel like the longer this series goes, the worse it is for Tampa. I feel like Tampa's players are tired as it is. They've had some long games. I mean, you all remember in the first round, Tampa had that 7 period, 5 overtime, or 8 period? 8 periods, 5 overtimes game against the Blue Jackets, which, I mean, that's gotta wear on you right off the bat. And then they really haven't. They had a little downtime between the Bruins series and the Islanders series, but I mean, the Islanders series went 6, and Dallas was able to rest up before. It was a pretty quick turnaround, and they're pumping these games out. They're playing every other night, and I'm pretty sure that there's a back-to-back one night. This series is, we're gonna have a Stanley Cup. Somebody crowned the Stanley Cup probably by the next time we do this episode. The freaking dog wants to pull my backpack across the freaking room. Anyways, I think, we will, by the time we do this next Tuesday, we'll either be crowning someone the Stanley Cup champion, or somebody will already be crowned. And to be completely honest with you, I think Dallas could do it. They always say, the teams that find that hot goaltender are the ones that will end up winning the cup. And I think Dallas has got it with Doby right now. He is just playing unbelievable. And I know I've heard like a lot of Bruins fans being like, I can't believe we gave him up. Like, we should have had him over Halak. But since Khudobin left Boston to him now being in Dallas, he's been in Dallas for 3 years now. Excuse me. What was I gonna say? It's official right now. Giants and Devonta Freeman now officially have agreed to a 1-year deal worth $3 million. Interesting. But back to the teams that always, if you look at it, who won last year? Who won? Yeah, because the Bruins got lost in Game 7. I already forgot about this here. The St. Louis Blues, prime example. Bennington got hot in January, and they rode him all the way to the Stanley Cup final, and they won it there. I mean, that's a hot goalie right there for you. Honestly, to tell you the truth, if there was no COVID and there wasn't this like layoff, this break, this global pandemic, this global pandemic that we had, Carter Hart was on fire, and I honestly think they could have been able to ride Carter Hart to the Stanley Cup, and Philadelphia could have potentially won the Stanley Cup. But then again, I just think how hot the Flyers were at stoppage. I think they would have been able to ride that to the Stanley Cup Finals. And I think that Philly could have won the Cup this year if it wasn't for COVID. Excuse me. Freaking all of a sudden my allergies are bothering me. So, but I think because Khudobin is so hot right now, he is playing out of his mind. He has stepped in big for Ben Bishop, who has tried to come back one game. What game was it? It was against Vegas, or was it in the Vancouver series? No, it wasn't the Vancouver, the Colorado series. He came back in Colorado and he got lit up. He got absolutely lit up. I definitely don't think he was ready to come back, and he obviously it showed that he wasn't ready to come back because he was unfit to play like the next game. So, yeah, I definitely think Doby is hot. I think they can ride him to the finals. I mean, they're in the finals. I think he can ride him all the way, and he'll be able to pull this out and win it for Dallas. I know last night wasn't a good example of it, but Dallas almost came back and won that. Hold on. Sorry about that. Hi. You want to say hi? This is Remy. He is our new puppy that we got, who is the one who is eating everything. Little boy is teething, so he likes to chew on everything. And this is generally about his spaz time, right? Before he goes to bed, he likes to spaz out a little bit right before he goes to bed. So, did you just scare yourself trying to eat the string on my sweatshirt? So, but do you think the Dallas Stars can win the Stanley Cup? Jeez, you scared yourself, huh? Is that, I don't know, is that a yes or a no? Oh man. So, but what do you, chat? What do you guys think? No, UG, you don't think so? You don't think the Stars can win it? You're all in on Tampa? Oh my god! I just threw my shoulder out catching him. He would have freaking eaten it. You think Tampa's the better team? You think? I don't know. I feel like their back end is tied. Even though they've been running 7 defensemen, I think their forwards are going to be too tired, and they're not going to be able to keep up keep this up. So I mean, I honestly, I think Dallas can do it. I really do think Dallas can win it if Stamkos comes back. Honestly, I think if Stamkos comes back, it's the worst thing for Tampa. I think they'll hurt them. I think if Stamkos comes back, it will 100%. I think Dallas wins it. I think Stammer coming back, as much as I would love to see him on the ice. He's one of the best players in the NHL. He's a great captain of that team, but he's been out too long. I know he's skating with the team. I know he's but I honestly do not think that it's a smart play for him to come back. Don't mess up that lineup unless they direly need him. Unless there's an injury, put him on the 4th line and get him 10 minutes maybe. Yeah, but now you're messing with the mojo of that 4th line. Which actually they don't even have a 4th line because they're only putting out 11 skaters. So unless they go down to 6D and they put a 4th line and he's on there with Maroon and I don't even know who else you would put him with. So I don't know. I honestly don't think it's smart for Stammer to come back. Continue practicing with the team. Continue being the support. I know he's been there the entire time, and it's probably going to be shitty being in that situation, being in that bubble away from your family and not being able to play where your main reason is to be there to play. But I honestly don't think that it's smart for him to come back. And how about that's gotta be such a tough situation being there, not playing in the games. He'll play the last game, Game 7. If there's a Game 7, do you think he'll play it? I mean, possibly, and you know what? I mean, I don't know. Maybe by then he is a little better. Now what are you eating? How do you find everything? Jeez. So, but like I was just saying earlier, by this time next week we're gonna have a we'll have a Stanley Cup champion. I think this series is gonna be over by October 1st, isn't it? And then we go right. We go right into. Isn't the draft like October 7th? I mean, the season is not even over, and there's already trades being made by teams that are no longer in the playoffs. Buffalo just traded Marcus Johansson to the Minnesota Wild for Eric Stahl. So I mean that's probably like one of the bigger trades that happened within the last week that is going on while the Stanley Cup Finals is going on, which is such a wild thing to think of. But yeah, I think the draft is like the not this coming weekend. I think it's the following weekend. I think it's in 2 weeks. Honestly, to tell you the truth, I think it's the weekend of the 10th, of October 10th. I think it's that weekend is the draft. And I think free agency is usually right after the draft. So I think you got that draft, you got free agency, and I know that there were talks was that they wanted to start the NHL season come beginning of December. And I know Bettman just came out saying more towards the end of December, more and maybe beginning January. Honestly, the best thing, and I know like a lot of it. Before I get into my point, I know a lot of it is the owners and the league. They, the owners' revenue comes in from having the fans in the stands. They want to make money off of that. They got to figure out a way. They're not going to be able to do bubble cities for the entire NHL. The players aren't going to want to do it. They're not going to want to stay away from their families for an entire season. I think they kind of put up with it to get this year over with, but they're not going to want to do it for next year. So they're going to have to figure out a system where, these teams are going to be able to travel to, each city, each town to play each other. And I know that there's even talks of maybe there being an all-Canadian division. Because of travel. I guess like the players that are in the finals right now, if you're from the US, their families weren't allowed to go to Rogers Arena and be with them because of travel restrictions going from the US to Canada. So that's going to be kind of tough. That's a thing that I'm sure they're trying to work around right now as we speak. I feel like the lighting is just like not working, cooperating with me tonight. So I know that's a big thing. Yeah, exactly. 2020 for you. It's 2021. It's not looking much better. So, but what was I saying before that? Oh, I lost my train of thought. My point is that if they can get everything figured out and maybe have, because the Winter Classic is in Minnesota this year, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure it's what, Minnesota versus no, not Nashville. Is it Nashville? Or is it Minnesota, Colorado? Who is the Winter Classic this year? Chat, who's the Winter Classic this year? St. Louis Blues, that's where it is. It's Minnesota versus St. Louis at Target Field in Minneapolis. That's right. So I don't know, and I don't think there's been any fans at the Vikings games right now, so I think Minnesota is no fans in the stands. Maybe things might change by then, but imagine kicking the season off with the Winter Classic. I think that would be the best PR move for the NHL. I think it's a great way to start the new year, start the new season. Like I said, they got a lot of things that need to be ironed out before the season can start. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. More money? Yeah. What are you saying? It's more money to start it on January 1st? Or they'll get more money? More revenue coming in? I mean, because there's no way that I can't see them canceling the Winter Classic. I think they're still going to want to, maybe they move it back. It's not on January 1st, but I think if they don't do it on January 1st, they do the Stadium Series, which is like different times of the year, but I feel like those games, those ratings aren't as high as they were when they first started. I think the Winter Classic still probably does decent ratings, mainly for the fact that it is on, New Year's Day. Majority of people aren't working. They can stay home. They can watch, especially if you're. Do you think 82 season for the NHL next season? No, it's gonna be a shortened season. It's not gonna be 82. I think it has to be at least. Well, what was the shortened season for 2013? It was 58 games. I think it has to be at least half of the season for it to be considered a full season. I think they want to try to get it around like probably 58 to 62 games for the season. But it's definitely going to be a shortened season. It's going to be a shortened season, kind of like if it was like a lockout year. It might run a little longer into the summer, and then like this might be just kind of like a domino effect of trying to catch up and get back to that regular. So like maybe this year will be, say 65 games, and then next year they do 75 games, and then the following year they get back to 82 games. This is definitely going to be a domino effect. This is going to have to be kind of figured out soon. So, but I think them to come back, start, and I've said it on, I don't know, on the podcast that I'm on, the Boston Sports Syndicate, the Bleed Black and Gold, which is a Bruins podcast. This here, my Big Country Sports Hour, is going to be more of a variety of sports in every team. It's not going to be Boston based. As like we're talking about the Stanley Cup right now. So, but I think, yeah, like I said, I think this is going to be a domino effect. It's going to be a couple. How's your face, dummy? It's going to be a couple seasons before we get back to an 82 season. So, but you'll still have your 16 wins for the playoffs, your full rounds like they did this year. But we'll see what happens coming up. Ooh. And then I'm pretty sure the MLB's playoffs are going to be starting soon, right? That season's going to be almost over. I feel like this is like the MLB, when you got all four major sports going, I feel like MLB just takes a huge backseat. Obviously, the NFL is kind of the main priority. A lot of people kind of have their attention on them more. And then, then probably basketball is probably number 2 because you got some big names like LeBron James, Anthony Davis, potentially could have another Lakers-Celtics final. I know the Celtics are down 2-1 in the series to Miami. They got their next game Wednesday night. I think the Lakers are up 2-0 or 1-0 in that series. 2-0, I believe. The NBA just like spreads it out so far, and I don't know if the NBA is gonna 2-0. The Lakers are up 2-0. Thank you, UG. I think I don't know. I don't really know any of the plans for the NBA for next season. I know my brother's a big NBA fan. Big fan. Maybe I'll have him come on one week and we can talk basketball with him. I definitely would love to try to get some people on here with me that would love to talk and kind of, whether we talk like football, hockey, anything. NBA starts in January. That's the talks. It's January. They're not going to be able to do a bubble either, are they? Are they trying to do a bubble again, or are they going? They're talking about it. They're talking about doing a bubble, or are they going to go full tilt? Yeah, see, I really haven't heard too much. Not really dialed into the NBA circle. Pretty much kind of what I know is from my brother and what I hear on the radio. But yeah, so we could potentially have another Celtics Lakers finals, which, that's been a long time rivalry going for years, or for not even years, for centuries. So that would be cool. That'd be good to see. That would be a nice little like spark for the NBA. And I feel like just with like COVID and everything, I just feel like some things just kind of get like buried a little bit. Like, I don't know if it's just because there's too much going on now with Waba. What's up, Waba? How we doing, bud? With you got all four sports playing. It's so hard to kind of keep your eye on every single one. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this, hockey's my number one. If you guys know me, I'm a big hockey guy. I pay attention to that. That's the one I study the most. I pay attention to the most. And then NFL, I'm big into fantasy football. So if you guys have fantasy football questions, feel free to ask. I'd be more than happy to help you with your teams. So those are my main two. And then I'll pay attention to like basketball and MLB, about the same. I honestly watch more golf than I do MLB and basketball. Congrats to Bryson DeChambeau for winning the U.S. Open this past weekend. It was a good weekend for him. He came out hot, and then I almost said David Johnson. Dustin Johnson for winning the FedEx Cup. Congrats to him. He killed it up here in Boston at the TPC Boston. I think he broke the course record for the weekend, which is unbelievable. So, but yeah, you guys have any chat? You have anything you guys want to talk about? I can continue to talk about hockey. I was talking like MLB. I think MLB playoffs are starting soon. I'm gonna take a look real quick. I mean, the Red Sox aren't making the playoffs. A few team were hurt. Out of all four fantasy football teams I have, or let's see, I had Saquon Barkley in one league. He got hurt. I have Devontae Adams. He's hurt. I have who else do I have? I had Godwin, who was out last week with a concussion. I have Le'Veon Bell, who got hurt last week. Let's take a look. Let's take a look who's hurt. Now apparently Deontay Johnson's questionable. Jeez, I know. Malcolm Brown is questionable. Le'Veon Bell's on the IR. Like, I have so many. It was such an injury-prone week. Hi, baby. For like the entire NFL. Like, I was like the 49ers lost their entire roster pretty much. And the coach of the 49ers, Shanahan, he said that the MetLife Stadium field was absolute trash. And he has to go back there this weekend to play the Giants at MetLife Stadium because the Jets and the Giants share a stadium, if you guys weren't familiar with that. And the 49ers had to go on the road to play the Jets and then on the road to play the Giants back-to-back weekend at MetLife Stadium. And if they have the same amount of injuries that they have, if they have the same amount of injuries this week as they did last week, they might not have a roster to field. They said week 3 might be worse. Well, I mean, you got these players who are professional athletes, so they are playing at top tilt, going full bore, balls to the wall, and you're expecting these guys to do this without any training camp because these teams weren't allowed to meet up prior. There was like no hitting, no nothing. Everything was over Zoom calls or Skype calls or along the lines of that. And then you have like you said, Eugene, no preseason. So these guys are going in week 1 to go out there, full tilt and to play at the top of their abilities. And this is why you're seeing so many injuries, I know a lot of the leagues I'm in, we've added an extra IR spot because we thought, a lot of these players were going to get COVID and not be able to participate or play. It's not even that. They're all getting hurt due to just for not having the proper conditioning. And I know that the NFL was talking about how they want to eliminate some preseason games. I think this year is going to be, and I know a lot of the players don't want to play the preseason games because they see it pointless, but I think this year is going to be a prime example that they need those preseason games and they need these training camps to get to their abilities so they're not getting injured. I mean, we had, 3 or 4 ACL tears just this past weekend? I mean, how many high ankle sprains? I mean, it's just like these. I also don't think these fields are at their best ability either. So it's kind of hard to kind of really know where it's at. So this guy is out of control right now. May I help you? But I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable, and I think you're right, Yuji. I think this week might be even worse. I mean, it's just. I mean, you're gonna see a lot of players you've never heard of before. You're gonna see a lot of guys get opportunities. Like I mentioned earlier, Devonta Freeman just signed with the Giants. Apparently, he gave out more money to go with the Giants because he likes the opportunity. But to be completely honest with you, I don't think Devonta Freeman is gonna do that well in New York. Saquon Barkley could barely run, and he's one of the best running backs in the league, and he can't run behind that offensive line. The Giants' offensive line is not good, and I don't think that Devonta Freeman is going to be any better. And I don't wish injury on anybody, but I honestly, he hasn't been practicing. I mean, he could be working out on his own at home or wherever facility he's working out at, but he hasn't seen any game action, and he's going in week 3. I wouldn't put it past it if he got hurt as well. Which I don't ever want to see any player get hurt. I mean, these guys, it doesn't suck for my fantasy team. Absolutely. These guys are playing, the sport that they grew up loving, whole 9 yards. I want to see anyone get injured, but there's no preseason. Have 3 QBs get hurt? Well, I know. Yeah, actually, the 49ers probably did. I know Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt. I think their backup might have got hurt, and I thought I saw today, and I think Blake Bortles, who's their 3rd string quarterback, is gonna be getting the start in San Francisco this week, if I'm not mistaken, or for San Francisco in New York. If I'm not mistaken. I think you're right on that, UG. Yeah, I mean, the Denver Broncos, they got their quarterback got hurt. He has a shoulder injury. There's just there was so many injuries that just went down. It's unbelievable. It's wild. Fans in the NFL. Did you see? So the question was, what do I think of fans in the NFL? I mean, if they could do it right, if they could do it properly. But I did see something that a fan that attended the first game, that Thursday night game, the Houston at Kansas City, a fan that was attending that game tested positive for corona. Which, I mean, I know they're trying to keep everyone, socially distanced. They have to wear their mask or face covering unless they're eating or drinking. So to be completely honest with you, the majority of the fans that are going to these games are going to be either eating or drinking the majority of the game. So they're not going to be wearing their masks. So, but I did see that the NFL fined, is it Nick Fangio, Pete Carroll, and Kyle Shanahan $100,000 each for not having their mask on the sideline. And then it was like another, they fined those coaches individually that much. And then I think there was like another, yeah, there was like, what does it say, 6 coaches? Yeah, it was like another 6 coaches. So they find the head coaches personally, and then they find the organizations for other coaches not having the mask on. And it was, I think it was like, I thought I saw it was like $500,000 in the fines that were given out for not wearing masks for the NFL, something like that. Yeah, I think it was another $250,000 for the teams that they had coaches that weren't wearing masks. That's what it was. I mean, at least NFL's trying to make it aware. They're trying to be on top of it. I guess there was times last night during the Vegas New Orleans game that both Gruden and Sean Payton didn't have their mask on, so I don't know if they got fined as well today, which could like that bump it up to like $750,000 that in fines in 2 weeks for not having masks on. So obviously the NFL is really cracking down on that, and I mean it's a serious topic. It's a serious subject in this world that we're living in, and hopefully we'll have a cure for it soon. We'll see what happens, but so guys, I appreciate you all coming out for week 1, episode 1 of the Big Country Sports Hour. I want to do this every Tuesday night. Just come in, we're going to talk sports, everything that's going on in the week, what's going on, for all across all sports, whatever you guys want to talk about, I'd be more than happy to ask. I would love to start getting some people to come on with me. Whether you guys want to come on for the full show, for a half a show, a quarter of the show, it would be great. We could talk about whatever. If you guys did miss this on Twitch, I am going to be posting this also on YouTube. So this video will be going up on YouTube as of noon tomorrow. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to follow my Twitch channel, twitch.tv bigcountry7914. I'll put all the links in the description so that way you guys can catch us live and participate live. I'll be talking to the chat. We'll be getting, questions in through that way. So guys, I appreciate it. Hope everyone has a fantastic week. Till next Tuesday, we should have a Stanley Cup champion. Potentially the finals matchup for the NBA. The NFL keeps going the way it is. Everyone's fantasy team will be gone. And I think the MLB playoffs are starting. I'm going to actually look that up. When did the MLB playoffs start? When do MLB playoffs start? MLB playoffs start October 5th. So October 5th, MLB playoffs will start. So by the time this next episode will be, MLB playoffs will be just starting, so we can talk a little bit about that. Until then, have a great week, and